You're still watching the morning call here on Africanews. Now, oil prices recently rose sharply after the killing of a top Iranian general, Qassem Soleimani, in Iraq. Analysts warn the action could escalate tensions in the region and affect global oil production. The price of Brent crude jumped by more than 3% at one point, hit $69.50 a barrel, and this is the highest since September. However, the global benchmark for crude oil rose above $70 a barrel for the first time in over 3 months, with jitters rising over the escalating military tensions between Iran and the United States. Ruth.
And the United States has put forward new sanctions against Iran, and this tension could have an impact on oil prices. Now, to analyze this ceaseless fluctuation in the price of crude oil supplied by the American and Iranian powers, our expert NJ Ayuk from the African Energy Commission now joins us from South Africa. Thank you so much for being with us. First off, how do you think tensions between the U.S. and Iran may affect the oil sector in Africa?
Have an impact in the Africa oil market. You know, the volatility in the market is never good for anybody. The markets need stability. The markets need to know that this is going to be a price. When you have the prices escalate to $100 or $80, then drop to $40, it's never good, even for African oil producers. African oil states, they're not really benefiting. So you need stability. What you see right now in Iran it's a shock to the system. It's a shock to African oil producers, because we don't know for certain how these tensions, if it would extend into Africa. But the problem you see right now, 2 of Africa's biggest producers, they're already in crisis, Libya and Nigeria. And so with the prices going up, the African consumer is going to be hit really hard. And the prices will go up, whether you're using airlines, because they rely a lot on petroleum products, whether on petrochemicals, they rely a lot on petroleum products, and it's never good when these prices escalate.
So could this price increase be a big plus for the African oil-producing states?
Yes, it would lead to a plus in a short term, but do not forget, look at what happened in the past when you get a hit in Saudi Arabia. Yes, there was a spike, but then within 2 weeks, it dropped back into more stable markets around $60. So it's never good to see the prices grow or go up so fast and escalate. There is going to be very short benefits to the Africa oil market, but we have to be very careful, because most African countries don't actually produce oil. Most African countries are net importers and they consumers. So we have to be very careful how you mitigate the risk towards consumers and also towards producers. And I think it is very, very important that we balance that. So oil states might be very happy to see a new increase, but it's not going to be for a long term. It's going to be for a very, very short term. And as a chamber, we are more concerned about short-term gain and long-term pain. We want some kind of stability, because stability in the market benefits everybody and benefits Africa in the long term.
Monsieur Ayuk, les puissances mondiales. What powers see Africa as their testing ground? How would you advise for Africa to stand out during this period?
I think when you look at when you talk about an experimental dumping ground, yes, it's true. But we have to be ready. We have to create that enabling environment to be able to bring in investment. We have to create that environment to be able to see that we can develop our own resources ourselves. We can really create our own resources to make sure that it really works with our people. So what it's going to see right now is that you're going to see a lot of people coming in and saying, well, we need to turn to Africa. But the real problem with Africa is that, are we ready? Are we empowering African companies? Are we empowering African women? Are we using our gas in an era of climate change to really make sure that we can develop that? So whenever you come with your own experiment, we tell you we have our own strategy, our strategy for the future, to to confront the new realities in the world, it's going to be gas instead of just relying on crude. It's going to be us maybe having more refineries like what you see Dangote doing in Nigeria, and really make sure that we don't export crude to Europe and then bring it back down. That is what, so when you do that, you have your own plans, create an enabling environment, then you refrain from becoming an experimental dumping ground, and you can really push forward.